third round, I played... Okay, let's change the board to here. Okay. Let's flip the board. Again, if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like and share. It shows me that you like this type of content and you want to see more of it. And it helps me keep motivated by doing some of these videos because they are difficult to work through when you're analyzing all this stuff. It takes a lot of time. And if you guys are gaining benefit from it, I'm gaining benefit from it. But I'd like to see that you guys are enjoying it. So please make sure to like and share. And I will keep doing more of these on stream. So round 3, I met Alex Tara. I'd never met this gentleman before. But he has 2 daughters that also play at the club. In the reserve section, who are young ones that are up and coming, and I think one of his daughters went 5 or 6-0, which is amazing in the reserve. So kudos to those 2. I don't remember how the other one did, but I'd have to go look at the standings. I'm not sure, but I think they both did pretty well, actually. So. Yeah, the 3 of them were able to come to the club championship. We had a lot of players at the club championship. I think we had like 50 players. I think there was about 40 in the open section and 10 or 12 in the reserve section, which is under 1,000. And yeah, so the club was packed for a couple of weeks, which was awesome to see. So I get to play Alex. I knew nothing about him. I'd never seen him play. I didn't know what he played, so I had no way to prepare for him other than playing my normal things. And I got to play a French against somebody that plays the B3 lines. And I had not run into this before. So it turned into a weird advance French system with a bishop fianchettoed on b3. But now, and the reason I played it this way, now I sat for a minute here. Now I want to check. I did spend some time looking at this particular move because I actually played it pretty quickly. Knight f6. So I usually spend 5 minutes for about 10 moves in my openings, but I was already 5 minutes in on move 6, which was a little bit different for me. So I did spend probably a minute here thinking about how I wanted to handle this. Now, I did consider taking the pawn. Some people are going to be like, why didn't you take the pawn? Why didn't you take the pawn? I did not want to take the pawn. For one reason, I know it's a free pawn, but I'm unfamiliar with those structures. And I wanted to provoke an advanced setup because I felt like if I can play this and he pushes, which he did, he didn't have to. The other reason I wanted to be able to take this pawn with the knight, that was one reason. But if he pushed, then this move, these 2 moves were useless because now he is stuck. And for me, I thought that was a win positionally because this is a normal French for me now. And now look how dismal that bishop is. It's ugly. And this bishop doesn't move. It just sits there for the rest of the game. I don't think there's another dark squared bishop move by white for the whole game. I'm looking through the game really quick. And no, it does not move. Not once. So my idea of being able to shut this bishop out positionally was well-founded, and this is exactly what I wanted to do because now usually you're a tempo down as black, and now I feel as though I positionally have the advantage. Played the f4 lines, which I'm familiar with. It's just piling up on this pawn, trying to keep your center. And I thought, okay, we're going to make some normal developing moves, and now I have the ability to potentially trade off my light squared bishop. But we have to prepare it first, and I prepared it this way by playing a5. And I thought this was perfect because now he's got to waste a tempo taking, and otherwise his, he does anything else, I'm going to get his pawn. But he played this interesting move, which I thought that he would play. And I thought, oh, wow, now it's really, really kind of a crazy terrace type of structure, which a lot of times these favor black. And I thought, okay, I have to be careful with how this is taken care of and how we resolve this, if we do anything at all. Now, I made a poor move here, which at first sight doesn't look like a poor move. But he gave me the tempo back by moving his king, which was probably smart, because the idea is this bishop might come to light. Now, I think the better way to do this was probably just to take the c4 pawn, just straight away. Take the c4 pawn and go from there. Just because I don't want him to be able to alleviate that bishop ever. I don't want him to keep it there or have to move it. So wasting more time, right? But I didn't do that. I thought, okay, I'm going to give myself the ability to castle either way. Now, some of you would look at this and be like, why would you even consider castling queenside? Why? Well, it depends on what happens in the center. It could be very beneficial to have this rook on this file, or just having the ability to move the rook there now, or just having it come here. So I have options. The other thing that's a little bit tricky is when you castle this way, especially when f4, this comes and has the potential to disrupt your center, and it gets messy if you're not careful. With me wanting to trade off this guy, I thought, okay, well, e6 is going to become weak. I have to be careful about that. So, yeah. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just get out of the way. So he gave me the tempo back by moving his king. I don't quite understand this move. I guess long term, maybe it makes sense, but he's not in any danger right now. It's not like my queen's on b6, but that was the first move I didn't really understand. Well, actually, there's a few moves he played before I didn't really understand that just seemed to be wasted. Like, he's just developing but doesn't really have a plan. At least that's the sense I got. So here I really seriously thought, okay, well, if he wants to move his king that over that way, I want him to reconsider it. And I played h5 here, thinking, well, I'm just going to keep the tension in the center. So I'm going to make him make the decision on which way he wants to go. I probably shouldn't have done that and just played c takes d4. Or, sorry, d takes c4. It probably would have been the right way to go. But I didn't do that. I was lashing out this way. Now, My next move is a complete blunder. I played this. And can anybody point out the problem with this move? Pause the video if you have to. You can check it out, but somebody will answer in the chat very quickly, I'm sure. If you see the move, tell me what it is. What's the problem with bishop takes bishop? So the idea is that I've made a gross error because of, well, the line that played out is one, which we'll go over, but this is probably straight up losing. And as soon as I took the bishop, I saw it, and I was like, oh my, I was so mad. But he didn't do it. He took what I thought he would do. And I miscalculated. And he took it really quick. But I saw this move and I was like, oh, this is over. This is just done. Okay, why? Delete that. Yeah. I saw this and I was like, well, I could probably just resign at this point. Because now I'm going to take here, and here. And now if we take a look at what's left, I'm just straight up down a piece. So, yeah, not good. Really bad. Now I got 2 pawns for it, but that's going to require a lot to make up. Now, the way it played out was this way. And I calculated this. I'm like, oh, I can win an exchange. But that move right there, I missed, comes with check. And now I've given up 2 pieces for a rook. And that was a mistake. Not good. So, and at this point, I took the pawn and I got up and I walked away from the table because I was about to resign. I was so irritated and frustrated with my play that I missed this calculation, which is simple, like just simple. I missed this move, and I missed this move, and I was just so frustrated with my play against a 1200 that I was just like, what the heck? Now the move here is probably just taking and kind of continuing on. And it's a game still. But no, this happened, and yeah, I went for like a 10. I spent 10 minutes outside or something like that. So after queen takes f1, yeah. So I didn't mark any more times. Oh, actually, no, that's his side. I didn't mark any of his times. But what's interesting is he had, yeah, after I castled, I walked away for 8 minutes. I was so irritated. But from the time he played queen takes f1 to the end of the game, for him, he spent less than 10 minutes. And I spent over 30. So he was moving really quick, like not spending any time at all for the rest of the game. As you can see, it doesn't end it ends pretty quick from here. Now, if you look at this position, I walked away, spent 8 minutes outside cooling off because I was pissed. And now if you look at this position, you're like, oh, well, black is totally lost. Like 2 pieces for a rook is just not good. And I calmed myself down. I spent time outside. It was cold out. which was good. I needed it because it cooled my body off because I was seeing red. So here, I came back to the table, and he had already made his move, and his move was knight b d2. And I took an assessment of what is going on in the position. And he's got two knights and a bishop. So he's got two knights for a rook. And I thought, okay, well, I gave up my two knights, so I need to get my heavy pieces in the game. And is there anything for you all that you see that sticks out at you when you look at this position? What would be the plan that you might come up with for as black? And it's really, really hard to find one because most of your pawns are on dark squares, at least on the queen side. So your bishop is kind of hampered. There's no open lines, so your rooks have no open lines. And it's difficult to see something. But what I saw, which I'm guessing there might be one or two in chat that can see what I saw or have seen what I saw. Nope, only one. If anybody is familiar with the Chessable course, Forcing Chess Moves, it's a fantastic course. I think if you do the exclamation point Chessable, I believe it's a link. Let's see. Oh, it is. Let's see. Yeah, Forcing Chess Moves. So if you're interested, there is the link. Chessable.com. Just search for Forcing Chess Moves and you'll find it. If you're watching this as a video later. But one of the themes in Forcing Chess Moves is a weak back rank. So right now, it's not weak. But in order to push forward with all these pieces, you have to move all your pieces off the back rank. So if you move one off, you only have one piece that is on the back rank for protection. Now, we have a knight that can come and a bishop that can come. So my key square that I want to focus on is this one. And you're probably looking at me like, Nick, you got to be kidding me. You're thinking about that square and only that square? Yes. Right now, this is my key square because I know that he's going to want to move these knights forward, get them on some sort of outpost, or get them in the mix and try to go after my pawns and try to gain an advantage, which he already has, and try to squeeze me for effort. He wants to get this bishop in the game. So he also has the ability to bring this out here, which then cuts off the rook, which he probably won't do without getting the rook out first. But yes, my key square is that one. I'm going to load all my pieces up on that square and try to, because he moved his king in the corner, it has no way out right now. So if I can get a piece down there, or I can get multiple pieces, that's two pieces right there. If this queen's up here, he's only got one way to protect that. So I'm thinking to myself, I need to load all my pieces up on the D file, and we're going to go to town. So that's the plan I start to take into effect, knowing that eventually he's going to take here. I thought, okay, the other key square that you have to look at in this position is this one. Because if you can't identify this to this, whoops, this to this, that's a huge outpost for white. So knowing that, we have to make some key ideas. I want to get my rooks and my queen all on the D file if I can. Otherwise, we're going to work on the D file and the C file because eventually these are going to blow up and we'll have open lines down towards the king. Okay, So he comes in here and he's eyeing up this key square. And I thought, okay, well, I don't want to have my queen around that square. I want to be able to take with my rook and line my other rook up behind it. So we're going to take, and then this one's going to come over, right? That's the plan, if he does that. The other thing is, I'm like, well, if he doesn't do anything, I can just take that knight. Maybe he doesn't see it. Maybe I'll get lucky. Who knows? Maybe he'll come up with some other crazy plan that doesn't seem to work. But we're keeping an eye on this file. We still have our thoughts here. I know I took a piece off, but he comes and protects the knight as we expected. All right. I decided I'm going to bring my other rook into the mix because now he's taken a piece off that back rank. He's got one covering it. Problem is this bishop. I'd like to be on the D file, but right now we've got this going on. So I really need to get to the point where we can get everything on the D file, or this bishop has to move somehow. So he decides to take, and I take back. Now, I thought about taking back with the bishop, but I did not want this sequence to happen. I didn't want this because I felt like this was just not good. I saw this and I couldn't really work out how this could be good for me. I also thought moving out of the way and then him trading off more pieces, I thought this was bad. So I didn't do that, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna take with the pawn because, you know, why not? Now he can't do that. Now if he comes in here, if he comes into this square, whoops. If he comes into this square, I have it covered. We're good. All right, so he comes in, and obviously he wants to take this pawn. Right here, I thought, okay, we have some critical moments coming up. I have to deal with this. Venex 911, thanks for coming out and watching. Good to see you. And right here, I've got my open files, at least the one. Classical game analysis, I love it. Yeah, so I do a lot more with my channel when it comes to analysis and learning and instruction than actually gameplay. A lot of people are skill-based and they play games online the whole time. I can't stream and do that. I like to talk about the games and figure things out. It's more entertaining for me. I think it's helpful for people too. So I played rook d5 because I want to get my other rook here, and we want to load up on this square because now he's only got 2 people on it. If I can get my rook here and my queen here, we've got 3. That's checkmating. We're getting close to checkmating. If not, we're getting rid of these 2, and he's going to be stuck in the corner. So things are happening. Plus, I still have a dark squared bishop, which is his key defensive square. So this is also coming in here. That's what we're thinking about. Okay. I saw this move and I was like, whoa, buddy. Okay, you're getting fancy just for the sake of getting fancy. I was like, all right, now here is where we really need to get kind of interesting. Now my plan can really get into the mix because now he's taken a key defensive piece from 2 more squares. So now we only have 2 defensive pieces that can stop us. Just the queen and the rook. And I feel like he's going to be overzealous because any number of things can happen. So I'm going to continue with my plan. I'm going to load up on the D file. We've got 2. We've got a rook and a queen jamming up this way. We need 1 more. So the idea was I thought he was going to come here and then here, which is exactly what I want because we can trade it off and we're going to be good. So, all right. Do I have an international ELO ranking? No, I do not. I only have United States Chess Federation ranking, which is 1500. So I'm only an intermediate player. I have goals of reaching Class B and Class A, and then eventually working towards Master. But now that I'm older, it's obviously a lot harder. But we're doing okay. Yeah, I would like to play in some international FIDE rated games. That is the plan eventually. So at some point, I will get a FIDE rating. I have to attend a few bigger tournaments, which I'd like to play one bigger tournament this year, but I don't know that I'm going to get a FIDE rated one, but we'll see. USA is big, lots of players. Yeah, there's tons of players here, which is really great. So there's no shortage of players, especially even in my area in Wisconsin. There's definitely plenty of game players, chess players here, which is really good. The other thing that we have to also identify is that we have potential forking possibilities. Now, we don't have it right now because that key critical square is here, but we're not really looking at forking pieces. We're looking at checkmate because he's got this weak back rank. And he's going to move these pieces eventually. He has to be careful. So I thought about playing this, but I didn't want my queen in the middle. Now, usually when you set up, what do they call this? Alekine's battery? Is that what they call it? I think there's a number of names for it, but a lot of this is the way. This is the way that you want it. You want rook, queen, rook is usually how you want it. But I calculated I didn't want it that way. I wanted the queen to be near the end, just in case something didn't work out. So what I did was I decided to put the rook here. I thought, well, okay, if I ever have to, I can take with the rook this way, and then my queen's in the back. And yeah, it's not always ideal, but if things do come down to a mass trade or mass liquidation, I'll be left with a queen at the end, which to me I think is going to be good. It's obviously better than a rook. And he decided to get very overzealous. And he took my pawn. And I thought, okay, so he's now taken a piece away from these two critical squares. So the only critical square that we have to worry about is the one we talked about all the way back here when I castled. This was the critical square that we identified at the beginning. Our plan has been working towards that and that alone. It's been slow, but we have the privilege of being slow. So now right here, I kind of gave the move away, but I wanted to... Why would I play c4? Does anybody have any ideas why that would be a great move? If you do know, please go ahead and put your answer out there. And the key to this one is, if you haven't figured it out, you can pause the video and listen. But hanging piece, that's one. But I'm not... I can get my piece back, sure. And then I'm up in exchange. But I am not... That was not... That's a secondary use for it. But there's another use for it. The other use for it is a distraction technique. So if they decide to come take here, we now have no people on this square, this key square here, because now we have check, he comes down, and then we have checkmate. That is the idea behind. So it actually, that move serves two functions. We're hoping for both. And that move I made with the intention of all of that. Distracting the back rank so that we can get a very good attack. Now, it also serves another function. A third one. It's actually, the third one is forcing this piece to move. So yes, we're attacking a hanging piece. We want it to actually move into D6. And you'll see the next sequence and you will be like, wow, that's crazy. So we're going to peel that off. We're going to take, and then now the beauty of my last move or not my last move, but a few moves ago when I was thinking it was good to have that rook on c6, blammo. And this, I think we can give a double exclamation point. And that wins the game, because now he cannot stop checkmate. If he takes here, he loses the queen. Game to follow. So just so you guys can see that, there's that. He can't do anything else if he comes back. Let's say he decides to try to defend it. We're going to put him in check. Check. Checkmate. So there's a few key things in this game. One, after my blunder, this blunder right here, actually it was before that. This was the blunder. I should have taken on d5 because of, well, the sequence that played out was not good, but there's a worse sequence that he missed, thankfully enough. I saw it after I made my move, which was this. d6 is absolutely just losing. I probably could have resigned after this, but so after this sequence, and I castled, I went and took a break. I got up from the table, I walked away, I made my move, and I went and cooled off. Yes, it was 8 minutes wasted time, but some people would say that's not wasted. To me, that was extremely critical for me winning this game. If I did not do that, I almost just resigned and said, okay, you win. And yeah, the key idea that I want to get across in this particular game is to not resign. Don't get emotional. If you get emotional, get up, walk away, take a break, go grab a soda or a juice or a fruit or something. Take your mind off the game for a second. Come back with fresh eyes and focus and come up with a plan. I came back with a plan. I sat for a little while. I found this critical square and I said, okay, he has a weak back rank. He's going to want to move these pieces off. He moved his king in the corner. We have a potential target. Yeah, it's very long term because at this point, the game ended in 10 moves. I came up with a plan around this key square and only that key square, and in 10 moves, the game is over. So we went from a losing position to maneuvering around very slowly and methodically to have them blunder. If you're playing anybody around your level, if you are under 2,000, even probably higher, even up to master and 2,200, anybody below 2,000 is going to blunder. They can. They have the ability to blunder no matter what. Always. Period. So, my suggestion and thoughts to you are to not quit. Play to the end. Make them checkmate you. Chances are that they will give you an opportunity to gain your material back if you make a mistake. It's going to happen. And if they don't, you can make them earn it. Make them earn it from your mistake. But sometimes, if you put together a plan like this, you will get a win. And he looked at this and he goes, and he straight resigned. Game over. Done. He's like, oh. And then he said, what did he say? He quoted something. He said something to me, which I was like, he's like, oh, you got lucky on that one. And no, this was not luck. There was nothing lucky about this at all. He didn't understand the position, and I did. Even though I made a mistake in the beginning. And I turned a game around that was losing. Chess is not lucky. Exactly. So, okay.